In the last module, we talked about how to find right target audience and how to create a list of prospects and then how to start outreaching them. But this module will tell you once you have got your target audience, once you have prepared your prospect list, after that, what type of messaging you should be sending them in order to get replies from them or in order to convert those prospects into paying clients. And that is very important part of this whole course because many of you are sending messages where you just keep getting ignored. So for example, the people who are sending messages like this: hi there, I noticed your profile and wanted to introduce our amazing services that have helped hundreds of businesses like yours. If you're sending these messages, you will definitely get ignored, and this is what is happening with you right now as well. Hope you are doing well. I would like to schedule a quick call to discuss how we can boost your company's performance. Again, you think your message is perfect because you are greeting them and then you are also adding value and then you're also giving them a reason to book a call with you. But at the same time, LinkedIn is something where decision makers are there, but at the same time, everybody is running their own businesses, but they need services to grow their business and they have to pay for it. They already know this thing, but they do not want to be get sold. What does that mean? That means that like everybody wants to grow, but nobody wants to be sold with any third person reaching out to them on LinkedIn. And this is the biggest mistake that we are doing. We are just sending them spammy messages, or the messages that everybody is sending them. These type of messages that I have just told you, or you can see on my screen, that your prospects keeps on receiving such messages every other day. Then what makes you different? Why they should be replying you and not to your competitors, and why they should consider you if you are just making use of the same templates that other people are also doing in your industry? What makes you different? There is something has to be there so that like people can start believing you. Another message tells me just reaching out to see if you need help with your marketing strategy. I have availability this week. Looking for more leads, our system guarantees 10x ROI with minimal effort. When can we chat? Now, such messages are quite straightforward. Such messages, obviously, they talk about the business needs, they talk about a tangible factor, but they have nothing. Uh, they have nothing in you can say all the messages have something in common, and then you are landing yourself in the spammy inbox because you are not the only one who are sending such messages. Your prospects are receiving such messages every other day from every other person, and that is why they don't want to talk to you or they do not want to initiate the conversation. So what you need to do before we talk about that, we have to understand what we doesn't have to do. We don't have to spam them, we do not have to send them such messages. Our message templates should not be generic. So if you are using such templates, just stop using it straight away. There's a psychology that you need to understand, and this psychology is that like everybody needs to grow their business but nobody wants to be sold. So you have to understand this, that like you have to offer your services to those prospects, but in such a way that they do not get an idea that you are selling them something, and that is how you will be able to increase your response rate. And this is the main reason why I have given this video a topic called $500 psychology rule, where you have to identify how much time you should be spending on a particular prospect. If your ticket size is less than $500, then your message should be direct so that like you don't waste your time in building up the relationships. Because there is a psychology that if I am running a multi-billion dollar company, then I won't mind taking a decision promptly on if I have to buy a service for $500, right? But when I have to spend more money, a large amount of sum, that is when I have to consider that whether I should be spending on you or not. Because if I am running a multi-billion dollar company, and then I just have to buy your $500 service, what would happen in the worst case? I'll just lose my $500. That's it. Or maybe I won't continue with the next month. But what if after spending just $500, I get enormous result, and then I can spend some more time with you? So that is psychology that you need to understand. That like when your offer or when your ticket size is less than $500, you need to consider the direct approach. And what that direct approach is, this the thing that you need to consider? No. So these are proper sequence that you need to consider, and then I'm going to talk about in depth. And the same way, if your ticket size is more than $500, then you need to build the trust first, because now your prospect has to spend maybe 5% of their monthly revenue, or maybe 10% of their revenue, something like that. So in that case, they will consider, or they will give a second opinion, or they will ask some of their team members that I met this guy and I really like this service, maybe we should be spending them. So there will be a second opinion for sure, and that is when you have to do the follow-ups. So follow-ups play a very crucial role because follow-up is something where you get the actual business and not the first message. So let us deep dive more into it. So when you know that your approach is direct because your ticket size is less than $5, then your prospect decision, they take faster decisions, because now they are not spending huge amount of chunk, and then they don't think that like I should be spending more time in just thinking about whether I should be spending this amount of money or not. Then it basically helps them to identify what is the offer, achievement based hooks, and soft immediate CTS. That is the approach that you have to take down. And when you have to build up the trust to sell your high ticket offers, then the first message should be, it should be value driven, it should be curiosity based questions. You should not be asking questions directly which gives them a hint that you are going to do some sales with them. So if you are asking what is the biggest problem your business is facing right now, and then your profile is saying that like, okay, you help SaaS business grow from 2x to 4x in 4 days, in 4 months, right? Now your question resonates with your profile, and that is when your prospect will get to know that you are here to sell something. So you should be asking them some questions that are indirect to your services, and the other person will be like, oh, he's not going to sell me something with this input, so maybe I should be answering this question, right? And then such questions will differ you from the other marketers or other competitors out there, because they are asking the same question, but now you are not asking the question that your prospect expected, and you ask a different question around their business. And then you have to be take the approach of permission based. So instead of sharing any lead magnet just in your message that, hi, I have a checklist of 50 things that you should be checking out in order to grow your business, and here's the link. So this way you will never get to know whether the other person has clicked on your link. Obviously you can make use of some tracking tools, but did other person show interest in in checking that checklist? You have no clue, so you didn't get the intent. But when you ask their permission that like, hi, I have made this checklist, and it should take only 5 minutes to find out what's the loophole in your current marketing strategy, so do you mind if I share that? Now this way, if the other person will reply, you will get to know, oh yes, he is interested. And now you can create your follow-up messages after you share your checklist, right? But when you share the checklist directly, or any lead man directly, then you will never get to know their intent, right? And then that person has not replied you, so again you have to do multiple follow-ups. So the first thing is to get a first reply, and for that you have to ask their permission, because the moment you ask their permission, they will take you as a very serious person, that oh, this person is wasting so much of time, and instead of just sharing the free value, he's asking my permission. And then he's building up the trust, because how will you build the trust just by sharing the free value? No. When the other person is not replying, then you won't be able to start the conversation. And to build up the trust, the first process is to initiate the conversation, and that is how you need to provoke them to take the first reply, and that is what you need to be doing in the trust building process. So this is the thing that we are going to talk about now. In the $500 approach, where your ticket size is less than $500, so we will be taking a direct approach. So what is the psychology behind taking a direct approach? Is the rapid decisions. Now they you know that your target audience can take decisions on the call itself if you have a no-brainer offer. So even though your ticket size is less than $500, that doesn't mean that you should not be having a no-brainer offer. You should be prepared on the call itself, so that like you can ask that person to not to say no to you. So you should be ready with all those things that the other person has not expected. So the other person says that like, oh, let me think about it. So you should be ready by providing some offers that that person can't resist. Maybe you can say, oh, you know what, if you take the decision right now only, then I can offer you this 10 days free social media content calendar, and then I can help you implement that part as well. Now other person will be like, oh, is this something that I should not be missing out? Because if I just take the any which way, I have to take the decision. So if I'm interested, why not now? And it's just a $500 value. So that way the other person will get prompted, oh yes, I need his service or I need her service. So now the decision making process is more faster. There's low risk involved, because even if in worst case they didn't like your service, what would happen? It's just a matter of $500 for just one single month, and they don't care. They don't care because like they know that they can recover this amount in X days. But if they lose the offer right now, then yes, it would cost them more. So it's a low risk value for them, and it's impulse territory. So small purchases often bypass national rational analysis and go straight to impulse decisions. That is when they do not have to take the permission of their teammates, because now they can take such decisions. They have the freedom, right? So that is what you need to identify, and that is the psychology behind offering and asking them directly. So what should be the right approach you should be asking them? So first thing is the achievement hook. That is how you should be starting your message line, and then what and how statement, and then soft call to action, right? So how you should be prioritizing your message. So in the achievement hook, reference a specific recent post. Show that you have done some research. It shouldn't be something like, oh, I saw your post and I really liked your opinion. No, nothing like this. When you do not show that you have done some research around that person, then you won't be able to build trust. See, ultimately it's not about just sending them a direct message. It's also about showing them that yes, you have invested some time. So take a reference of the recent post or the award that they have got in the past, or maybe the company milestone that they have achieved, not in last 1 week, maybe in last 1 month, maybe in last 6 months. So you can decide on that part. This is basically to identify and to prove your prospect that like you have spent some time in researching about your prospect. The second one is what and how statement. So clearly state what you do and how you do in 1 to 2 concise sentences. So instead of just sending it or making your things in an elaborate manner, you should be telling them like what results you can get for them and how you can get it. So it should not eat your 5-6 lines. You should be very concise, so that like other person will get to know in your direct approach. And then the soft call to action is a low pressure ask that makes it easy to say yes. Do not make it very salesy, or do not make use of hard call to action, because that is when the other person will lose interest. So once you take this approach, so your message can be look something like this. Hi Michael, just saw your post about hitting 500k visitors into your company blog. Impressive milestone. We help B2B companies turn blog traffic into qualified leads through our conversion audit service. We analyze user behavior and implement targeted CTAs that typically boost conversions by 30%. Now, your research is completely aligning with your service, and that is how the other person will get some more interest, because now you are showcasing that like not only you're selling your service, but you're adding value, because you know already that they have achieved 500k visitors, but there's something that they might be missing out, and that is what you can help them with. Would a 5-minute overview of how this could work for your blog be helpful? This is how a soft CDO looks like, and this way you have your achievement hook, you have your what and how statement, and then you have your soft CTA. Although this is a direct message, but it clearly shows that you have invested some time on the other person's profile, right? Keep your and the pro tip is keep your message entire 5 lines for maximum readability and response rate. Do not make your message very long, because nobody likes to read such long messages. Now we have one more example. The other example is, hi Sarah, just saw your post about struggling with LinkedIn content ideas. Great insights on the challenge many coaches face. So this prospect is basically a LinkedIn coach who had just mentioned that if you are facing these content ideas, then I have read your post. We created a LinkedIn content calendar with a 90 days of ready to post content specifically for business coaches. Takes the guesswork out of daily posting. Now you are helping that creator to provide the content not just for them, but also for their clients. And then you are also mentioning it's $297 only and include templates, captions, and posting strategies. What a quick look. Obviously, in this case, if you're targeting the Indian people, then nobody will like to pay you this much amount of money just to have a template for worth rupees 30,000 rupees. But definitely the people who are coaches and they are serving the people from USA, UK, and UAE, they definitely need such posts, because not every time they go and just check out the posts that are working, because they also have to provide content to their clients, and that is what the problem you are solving. And you can always tailor it in a more precise manner by showcasing that, like, okay, your profile is into health coach, and the content calendar that I have created for the 90 days is also provide you the hook lines for the health coaches, right? That is how that person will think, oh, it's just $300, why not, I should have a look at it, and maybe if it is useful, maybe I can do some bargain, or maybe I can go ahead and find it out for my clients, and that saves me more time. So that is how you are showcasing that you have done your research. So it showcases your personal achievement hook. It is very clear and concise in value, because you have already given the you have already mentioned the price at which you are selling. Direct price mention, low pressure CTO worth a quick look, expected response rate. So once you take use of this approach, then your response rate will get definitely increased. Obviously this is the first message, sometimes you won't get the reply as you are expected. In those cases, you have to build up your follow-ups around your first message, so that like people get more attention, because sometimes what happens is that like you send the message and then they might be busy in some important task, and then they miss it out. So in those cases, what you have to do is you just have to identify the right amount of messages that you should be sending more to these people. And always follow-ups is very important, because not always you get the first reply, but when you reach out to that person again and again, then that is where you start getting replies. And I have seen it personally. When I do this type of follow-ups, I always get reply, and I'll show you live that how I'm doing this stuff. Now, this was all about the direct approach. Now we should be talking about the indirect approach, in which we have to build the trust. And this is basically for those people who have their high ticket offer. So in this case, you have to spend some time in researching, and then you have to identify the budget on the basis of the company's value. Then you have to identify your offer, and then you have also have to identify that what is the ROI you can bring for them. Okay, because this is where the risk assessment will come in. So if they are running a million dollar company, and then you are just asking 1% of it, so there is a very low risk involved. But when you are targeting a company that is making 10k revenue, and then your service cost 2k, right? Then in that case you are asking 20%. So there's a high risk involved. So you also have to identify such things, that whether your prospect can afford your service at this price or not. If not, then what else you can do for them to build the trust and to minimize the risk factor, because this is 2025, where nobody is looking after buying a service, they are looking after growing their business. Obviously at the end of the day, we have to do the basic stuff, like creating content, making sure that it reaches the right audience, and then doing the commenting part and all the stuff. But all these things, will it give them the benefits that they want? Will it give them the ROI that they are expecting? That is what they are craving for. Nobody likes to buy content service these days. So if you are these coaches, they are more focused towards that, can you grow my business, can you get me some more clients? I don't care what service you do, I don't care how many posts you are going to do. The only thing that I care about is that, can you get me 10 more clients the next month if I buy your service? That is what you have to do. So for this case, what we are going to do is that we are going to take the four step approach. These are 4 stages. Basically, one is a connection part, second one is the conversation part, the third one is value delivery, and the fourth and the last one is strategic follow-up. So when you create the connection, start with a non-salesy question about their business that shows genuine interest. For example, like, I noticed your recent post about scaling your agency. What's been the biggest challenge in that journey, right? And once they start replying to your questions, then what you can ask, when they respond, provide insights without immediately selling anything. So as I always say, do not charge for the solutions, charge for the execution. So that so when they reply, okay, that scale so when they reply maybe something related to that, I'm struggling to get leads, so then you can say that that scaling challenge is common. I've seen many agencies struggle with that exact issue. Have you tried running paid ads? Have you tried cold emailing, or have you tried something else? And then you can say that they say, okay, I've tried cold emailing but it didn't work out. Then you can say, oh, I created a 3-page framework that helps solve that cold emailing issue, because this has been tested on 7 of my clients, and then they are getting consistently 10 clients a month, that worth to them $2K a month. So would that be helpful for your situation if I share that part? Now that person will be like, oh, he has something, but he is asking my permission. That means that like that is more valuable, so why not I should have a look. And that is how you are provoking that person to reply you more and more, right? And then after that, once that person sees your lead magnets or your free stuff, after that, hope that framework was helpful. I would be happy to discuss how it could be customized to your specific situation. Would a 15-minute call make sense? And then if that person has missed it, then he will get an idea to get some replies, to get to check it out, that like how that framework could help me. And then if I didn't understand what is there, then maybe I can have a 15-minute call, because it wants it, because it understands my current needs, and then the lead magnet target about what I want. Now this trust building questions is very important, right? So I've seen many people asking the direct questions to their prospects, like, what's your biggest marketing challenge right now? And then if I'm your prospect and I like, oh, this is another man who's gonna sell me after I just tell him that what I am suffering right now. Or maybe, how much is your company currently spending on lead generation? Like if I just tell him that, okay, we are spending 5K, and then he will come out with 2K offer, 3K offer. The next question can be, would you be interested in generating more quality leads for your business? Hey, who doesn't want the more leads? But now I got an idea as your prospect, that like, okay, he might be a lead generation person, and then he will going to send me um, going to sell me his lead generation services. So such type of questions are very straightforward, where your prospect is getting an idea that how and why you are asking them these questions. But when you tweak your questions around, I was intrigued by your career path from SEO specialist to digital marketer. What inspired that transition? So now you are showcasing that, okay, you are giving the other person some respect. You are portraying that you have done some research, and this question, when your prospect will answer, it has nothing to do what you are going to offer, and then that person will be skeptical that why he is asking me this question. So maybe he will reply to you. Then the next question that you can ask is, your recent post about uh, growing or getting leads through email marketing really resonated with me. What prompted you to share that perspective? That why did you share this perspective? Because it's a company strategy, a company secret. And then that person will be like, oh, I just shared it because I didn't share any specific value, and I thought that my audience should get it. Now this way again, these type of questions will prompt or will provoke your user to, yes, I should be replying it. The next question can be, what's been the most surprising change you have observed in, let's say, AI industry over the past year, because you are working in the marketing field. And then that person, okay, such type of questions will also get you less replies, but it sometimes work, because when you ask a very generic questions like this, they will be like, oh, why I should be answering this person? Do I know him? Do I know her? No. So such sort of questions will not get you replies, but yes, sometimes it does. But definitely you should be avoiding these questions, which basically gives a hint that you are gonna sell them your service. Then comes the lead magnet parts. I have a very dedicated module for this, so we'll be talking about it in depth. But this permission based lead magnets, very few people are using it, so you should be definitely using it. And why this matters? Because if currently you are sharing lead magnets, then what you are doing, you may be asking, hi Rohan, I have attached a free guide, 7 ways to double your LinkedIn leads, that I think you will find valuable for your business. Let me know your thoughts. So in this way, did I ask you to share that? No. Did I need this? I don't know. Or did you know that like I will be reading it? No. But you share the free value, and who cares about the free stuff? For example, like whenever you register for any workshop and that's free, how many times you attend that part, or how many times you go and attend the free events. You are just like, oh, it's just a free event, I can actually skip it because I've got some other work to do. But when you spend some money to attend an event, and then even if you have some got urgent work, or maybe you have got family functions to attend, or maybe you have got parties to attend, you will skip it out because you have spent money to attend that event, right? So that is where this free part comes in. So whenever you just provide the free value, nobody cares. But obviously, on internet, nobody is going to pay you for your stuff in your first go. But what else we can do? We can ask their permission. So in this case, what I'm going to do, hi Rohan, I created a 3-page framework that helped 3 other marketeers like you get 7x increase in their traffic for the SaaS business. Would that be helpful for your current situation at XYZ? Now that person will be like, oh yes, I am struggling, and he's not charging me any money, and I'll get something, a free PDF to look at, then why not? It will just take me 2 minutes. So, and it's already 3 page only. So why not I get this? And that is how you are basically asking that person to reply you, and so that like if that person will reply you for the first time, then in the future he might not ignore you. But when the other person has not replied, then the ratio of not getting the first message is keeps on getting increased. But when the other person replies, then the ratio of ignorance gets decreased. That is how it works, right? Then if I just explain you this trust approach, then I have this complete thread. I can actually read it out for you. So hi David, your recent post about scaling your agency from 6 to 7 figures caught my attention. What was the biggest operational challenge you faced during that growth period? Right? So I asked a question that does not give a hint that I'm going to sell my service. Then maybe David will reply, hi there, definitely finding and onboarding the right team members. We grew too fast and had some culture issues as a result. Then you can reply, that's exactly what I hear from the other agency owners at your stage. The culture piece is often overlooked until it becomes a problem. I actually put together a 5-page framework on agency talent acquisition that helps several of my clients avoid those exact growing pains. Would this be helpful for your situation? Now, obviously, you are not gonna sell them this service, but you are just taking the approach of uh, permission-based lead magnets. Now, what other person could reply? That would be incredibly helpful. Actually, we are about to start another hiring round next month, and then perfect timing. Then I have attached the framework here. After you have had a chance to review it, I would be happy to walk through how we implemented this with other agencies in a quick 20-minute call. Would that be valuable? So now, this way you have actually done the conversation with the other person, and then now the other person is more interested in what you are saying. So do's and don'ts of the effective messaging is basically the common mistakes that I've seen other people does on LinkedIn is that like they just say, hi Rohan, hope you're doing well. I noticed your profile and wanted to reach out. I'm a marketing specialist with 10 plus years of experience helping companies like yours achieve exponential growth. My team has helped over 100 businesses increase their revenue by an average of 300%. Would you be interested in learning more about how we can help you, your business grow? I would be love to schedule a quick 5-minute call this week to discuss. Best regards, Rohan. Now, this is a very, very generic message where it doesn't show that you have done some research. It doesn't show that you are interested in knowing about other person's situation. It just shows that like you are here to sell them your service. That's it, and you have no other intention. But when you tweak your message to something like, hi Rohan, your LinkedIn post about scaling your customer success team really resonated with me, especially the point about balancing automation with personalization. I noticed you mentioned challenges with onboarding efficiency. We recently helped ABC company reduce their onboarding time by 40% while maintaining high customer satisfaction scores. If that's still a focus area, I would be happy to share the framework we developed. Would that be helpful? I'm not asking to come directly on a call. I'm asking to solve their problem with a free lead magnet. But this time, I am taking their permission. So if they are still in need of such checklist, then why not? Then why they should not be reading that part? And that is how when they reply me, then I can ask them for a 50-minute call just to explain my process more faster. So that is how this thing works, right? Then you need to understand the science of buyer decision making, which I've already told you that low ticket decision path is on the prompt basis, but you should be ready with your no brainer offer. And then the higher ticket decision path is basically takes more time, and you should be focusing more on building the trust. So instead of you just selling your services, try conversing them for at least 7 days, 14 days, and then try to be on a call. And that is where you explain the stuff, because now that person knew you for the past 7 to 14 days. That means that you have already built a trust, and now it's time to convert that trust into a paying client. So that is what you need to understand from the buyer decision process. So this is one of the checklists that you can follow before you watch the next video. So what you have to do is like audit your offers, find out whether they lie in the uh, low ticket size or the high ticket size. Then create two message templates for each of the low ticket and your high ticket offers. Then research your prospect activity. So whoever you want to reach out, once you have identified your target audience on the basis of the different filters that we covered, so research about them and fill the data, and then prepare some trust questions that you could ask them. So instead of asking them the direct questions, prepare some trust questions around your research about their profile activity. Then design some lead magnets. Obviously you do not have to design it on your own. You can take help of ChatGPT or any other AI tool to help you design such things. And make sure that like you have all these things ready before you start reaching out to your client, because what happens is that like when they reply and you do not provide them the value that you promised, so they lose interest, and then you just end up wasting your time. And then track and measure results, that which messaging is working for you, and which at what stage your prospect is losing interest. Find out all those loopholes, and then that is how you can convert your prospect into paying clients. The next video we will talk about more in depth about how we can sell our services and what type of messaging we should be covering.